they're willing to cooperate because of that, because they know each other, because there's some tribal ties and engagements that allow them to work together, whereas in other parts of the world they have different objectives and a little bit different view. And so that tends to bring Islamic State and al-Qaida into conflict. Here, they're able to overcome that, and that's what, and work for a common purpose in their mind.
Very good. It was nice. She's in here, so that's just the headquarters.
I think long term, and we don't know when this will happen, but long term they want to establish themselves. They want to establish a caliphate, and they are willing. We know they have not only the desire but the will to attack the United States and the West. And so if we're unable to disrupt them, if we're unable to disrupt their efforts, you give them that safe haven, you give them the opportunity to develop their external operations, to develop their capabilities, and then you combine that with what I believe they're trying to do is find a source of reliable income that they can establish that through either kidnap for ransom, what they're doing now. They can get access to the gold mines that are throughout the region, and then they can start accessing the smuggling networks that run north to south from the Gulf of Guinea up to the Mediterranean that have been there for centuries. And if they can start to co-opt those and use that for a reliable source of income, you've got the ingredients for something that could be quite bad. We have to watch this. We don't know. It's not there yet. There's not a direct threat to the U.S. right now or to the West, but it's very destabilizing to the region. And I believe that if it's left unchecked, it could very easily develop into a greater threat and a greater threat to the West and the United States. We see that this has been very deliberate, and so they've been working on this for a while. So they have gone out, they being al-Qaida affiliates, J&M, others, to engage with key leaders in key locations and start to recruit early. And then that allows them to seed the ground, and so as they then move into these areas, they have some presence already. And we know they're active throughout the region. Al-Qaeda's been active here since pre-9/11. They've obviously moved to Afghanistan. They're coming back to this region, and I think they've got quite a network that we just don't have good visibility on. So there's more underneath the surface than many realize, and they're able to tap into that. I think the other piece of why it moves so quickly is there's some people that feel isolated, separated from the government. We have to work on governance. Al-Qaida, whether we agree with it or not, brings some level of justice to many of these areas and some level of services that aren't provided by central governments. And they provide some representation to people who are minority groups that are they don't feel part of the larger communities such as the Fulani or the Tuareg. And so you put that together and it creates the conditions that allow them to rapidly move. So what is it that we can bring? What are the key elements that the United States brings? What is the expertise? What is the intelligence sharing? What is the unique capabilities that we bring, and engage those at the right level? And I think we can have an outsized effect with a very small presence. We don't have to have a large troop presence in order to have that enabling effect. So instead of worrying about what is the size of the presence, I think we should look at what is the appropriate engagement across the government from all levels, from State Department, from aid, and then as well as what the military does.